So by now you have chosen the media that you want to focus on for your first kind of workshop style in detail work. So how do you prepare for that once you've chosen? Well, you need at this point to take a step back and make a list of things that you need to source for your media focus. So for example, if you've chosen printmaking, the chances are that you don't have those things at home ready to go. So you need to make a list of the things that you need to source. You need to find somewhere where you can buy them. And I really want to emphasize here that I don't want people to go spending loads of money on expensive materials and tools and things like that. Most things that you need for the media that I'm taking you through can be sourced relatively low cost at high street places and online. So I would really recommend shopping around and doing some research on how to source any material from places where you can buy them at relatively low cost. Quality is important. You do need to have good tools and materials, but at the same time, you can actually buy lots of really quite useful and good things for relatively low cost. So for example, in the printmaking example, I would go to maybe somewhere like the Works or the Range or Hobbycraft and look in their art section. Sometimes you can buy kits, so you might be able to buy a lino printing set. Sometimes you may see the items sold separately, so there would be things like lino, print rollers, printing ink, trays for rolling out the ink. So go prepared with a list of the things that you need to do that work. Or if you're buying online, make sure that you check all those items off the list and don't attempt to start your media work until you know that you've got everything you need. I'll give you another example. I spoke about ink drawing. So you may wish to choose to go deeper into drawing. In that case, I would go to an art shop or, as I said, online, and I would choose a range of colors of inks or maybe a set and purchase those. I would get some different types of paper that I could experiment on as well. I would make sure that I had something to cover my working area with because it can get a bit messy. That goes for printmaking as well. And I would also make sure that I had a range of things like different width paintbrushes or maybe sticks or different things that I could use to make marks. I spoke about the textiles example. So again, I could go to any of those sources that I've mentioned and I could buy different fabrics, different materials, different yarn or wool in colors that I like. I could look at getting accessories or bits and pieces that I would like to use in my work. Anything that you need to do that type of work. So if you're going to do sewing for textiles, make sure you've got needles, thread, scissors, and things like that. In the sculpture example, then you would need to make sure that you had the clay itself. If you want to work with clay, you would need to make sure that you have suitable, safe sculpture wire, which is normally aluminium wire. Sometimes you can get very good gardening wire, which is aluminium wire covered in kind of flexible plastic coating. If you're going to be working with wire, you would need wire cutters. You would need maybe a little kit or a set of tools. You can get wooden and plastic tools and metal tools as well for modeling in clay. Something to cover your surface with, somewhere safe and clean and calm to work. Yeah, any of those things that you need to work, especially with that media, you need to make sure that you source those things and check them off the list before you set up your work area and start doing your media workshop.